In this video, I want to demonstrate how to add a listing and then modify or edit a listing using Matrix. When available, the Add Edit tab will be up here. By clicking on the Add Edit tab, first, to add a new listing, you're just going to simply click on Add New. Then, you're going to choose your property type. Next, you'll notice these three tabs up here. The first one is the one you'll most likely be using, the Fill from a Real List Tax. As long as it's in one of these counties here, we encourage you to choose it and then auto-populate the street number, street name, and find the information and have it populate into your listing. I'm going to use that one here in a second. The next one is Fill from a Cross Property. This is your copy feature. If you want to make a copy of one of your previous listings, you'll use that one. You'll search for it either by address or previous MLS number, but it has to be one of your listings. And then the last one, start with a blank listing. If it's not in one of those counties down to the side there, you're going to use this option to start from a blank sheet of paper. But I'm going to use the most popular one, is Fill from a Real List Tax. Here you just choose your county and enter your street number and street name. Next, you're just going to hit search. It's going to find that address. Just confirm that it looks good, and then you're going to use the fill option. It's going to take as much information from the tax records and auto-populate it into your data forms here. You'll notice along the top we have all these tabs that will just drive us through inputting our listing. You'll also notice all the required fields are in yellow. But just because something is not a required field, we still strongly encourage you to fill it out as much as possible. You'll notice down at the bottom, at any time you can save as an incomplete listing. You can also cancel at any time. And then when you're ready and have all your required fields filled in, you'll either have an option to validate or submit the listing. I'll talk about these two in a moment. So just go ahead and fill out your information and then go to the next tab. On this tab, I want to show you about the map option here. Once you have a street number and a street name and an address, down here you'll be able to use the Get Lat Long from Address option. By clicking on that, it will just populate the map where it thinks that property is mapped at. I strongly encourage you, after it does, hit the Set Lat Long manually here to verify and confirm that it is mapped correctly. If it's not mapped correctly, you can just easily grab this pin and move it to where you need to. I also want to demonstrate that we do have the parcel boundaries on here, so at any time you can always just click on it just to confirm that you've got the right property. Once you're done, just hit the Done button. It's several reasons why it's important to map your listing correctly. Because of Matrix's ability to search by a map, people are going to be drawing map locations, and if your listing is not mapped correctly, they won't find it. Plus, we have this new feature here called Google Street View. After it is mapped correctly, you're going to click on Choose Google Street View and see what the Street View looks like, because you can change it. Once you've got it here, you can always just kind of move this pin around and get it exactly right. And you can also use the arrows to kind of drive down the street and look at it from a different angle. And you can always zoom in or zoom out on this if you like. Now once you've got it exactly the way you like it, just simply hit the OK button. And now your listing is not only mapped correctly, but the Google Street View for other realtors or members of the system, along with the public, will see your correct information. Then you're just going to continue on filling out your information and going to the next tab and entering this. Now, I want to show you this part when it comes to rooms. You're going to open up the pick list, choose your room, enter the length and the width and or the level, and then you're going to hit the More button. and then you can go and pick your next bedroom, or you can hit more and add the next room, and so forth on here. Enter your beds and baths here to level, and once again you notice what's required, and go to the next tab, and pretty straightforward, just choose your options and pick as many options that apply to your listing. And just because something is not required, we still encourage you to fill this out. Just go from the next tab, and on your remarks you'll also be able to type in certain words. You'll notice that if you misspell something, it underlines it for you. You can just simply right click on it and it prompts you to do a spell check, and it counts down your remaining characters here. Now, if you hit the validate button, it's almost like the submit button, but the submit button would actually submit your listing if you have everything correct. So before you hit the submit button, you might want to just use the validate button, because if you got everything inputted correctly, it still won't submit it. It'll just let you know if you made some errors. And here you can see I made some errors, and I can click on this to view them, or up here go to the tabs where you'll notice I am missing. If I open this up, you can see that these errors are pretty obvious because I have not filled them in. That's why I've got the message here. So to fix this, just fill this in. And then once I do have this done correctly, I would ready hit submit listing, and I'd get my MLS number. But I'm not ready to submit this. I want to save this listing as an incomplete listing. So by hitting save as incomplete, it does give me an MLS number. Now, I am in a testing mode, so that MLS number is not actually a good one, but you will get an actual good MLS number, even though it is not a live listing for anyone else to see. Now that your listing is saved as an incomplete listing, what you can do before it goes live is add and edit your photos, and even add and edit your attachments or supplements. So just click on the Add Edit Photos, and it takes you to this section. Here you'll notice that you can upload up to 100 photos, and we encourage photos at least 1024 by 768 pixels in size. We'll import as many photos as quality-wise as possible, but just the bigger the better is what we encourage you. So simply hit the Browse button, navigate to your photos, and pick them. Once you selected them and hit enter, you can see them all right here. If you see any of them that are outlined in red, that's because the photos below outlined in red are lower than this recommended minimum. We'll still take them, but we're just letting you know. To reorder them, you just simply grab the header and move it around and put them where you like your photos to be. You can just click on the box of the photo, and then you can enter your description for each photo right here. And when you're done, just click on done and then hit save. Next, you can also delete photos just by selecting them, and then hit the delete checked box down here. When you're done, simply hit save. You can also go ahead and add and modify your attachments also while you're here. But that's pretty much it. So I saved this one as an incomplete listing. So if I want to go back into it later and complete it and upload it, just go back to the Add Edit tab. And this time you're going to have an Edit Existing, but I think it's easier just to choose from the Quick Modify option here. If I open this up, you can see my incomplete listing is right here. It has an I next to it, the property type, and the MLS number along with the address. Here you'll notice that I do have an active listing that I can go back in, and we'll talk about that one later. But if I want to finish filling this one out, I would just simply click on it, open it up, and then I can go back in to the residential field and finish what I didn't fill out. I'm going to hit cancel here though. And I can also go back and add more photos or manage attachments. And I can also delete this incoming status. Maybe I made a mistake and I didn't get the listing or something, so I can go ahead and delete the incoming status here. Now, if I already have an active listing, I would just go in here and click on that active listing that I need to make a change to. Once you click on it, it opens it up, and then here I can go and make a price change, make a status change to whatever property status that needs to go to. I can schedule open houses here, and you will not be able to delete the listing. I have special privileges where I can delete the listing, but you won't be able to delete it. You can manage your photos, manage your attachments, and that's it. It's really that simple to do. So if you have any questions, please let us know, and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you.